Hey folks, this is Kalani. We finally have some more information about how the Puzzling Cartel Chips are going to work, and there are quite a few changes from how this kind of currency worked in the past. We'll also see a huge turbo boost event for Season 2, which basically makes gearing up much easier and faster. You'll be able to get even higher item levels from almost all sources, and gearing up your ults will be easier than ever before thanks to Warbound Valorstones and more Warbound gear drops. So let's go over how the Dinars are going to work, why they aren't quite as good as they have been in the past, and all of the huge gearing updates coming with the Turbo Boost event. Now before we jump in, be sure to hit up that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. First up, let's talk about the huge gearing changes coming with what the dev team are calling the Season 2 Turbo Boost event. This includes the feature a lot of folks have been waiting for, the Puzzling Cartel Chips, or the Dinar currency as it's usually known. Starting on May 13th, we'll be able to earn one Puzzling Cartel Chip per week from a new weekly quest. The weekly quest seems relatively straightforward. It's just going to ask you to kill 4 raid bosses in the Liberation of Undermined raid. So you'll have to hop into the raid to get your Puzzling Cartel Chips, but the looking for raid difficulty should count. So that's going to be the easiest way to pick up your weekly chips. 4 bosses shouldn't take too long on LFR mode, especially with how long this raid and these bosses have been available. Now when it comes to spending your cartel chips, we'll have a new vendor in Dornagal next to the Great Vault. We'll be able to buy pretty much any weapon, trinket or other special item from the raid, so that should include things like the powerful ring that Gallywix drops. So we can buy the most powerful pieces of gear in the raid, and with the cartel chips being easy to pick up, this is going to be more or less free raid gear. Now there are some pretty significant changes to the vendor gear that makes it far less lucrative than we had initially thought, and we will be restricted on how many pieces of gear that we can buy. When this was first announced, we were only able to get 6 dinars total, and each piece of gear will cost 3 dinars, so we can only get 2 pieces of gear from the vendor for each of our characters. With us earning 1 dinar per week, we would also have had to have waited until May 27th to get our very first piece of gear, even though the dinars themselves become available on May 13th. So that would have been another 2 weeks of waiting on top of the few weeks we have to wait for this whole event to kick off. Unsurprisingly, the dev team very quickly updated the way the system is going to work. The first weekly quest will now reward 3 dinars immediately, and then you can get 1 per week after that. So not only will we be able to buy our first dinar item right away on May 13th, but we'll also now be able to pick up 3 total items up from 2. So the dev team are definitely listening and are making some quick changes where they see fit. Being able to buy 3 items should cover most of the super best in slot items that players will be chasing after, like the unique weapons or the powerful trinkets. Something else that will impact your decision for which pieces of gear to buy is that unlike previous dinar vendor items, the 1115 gear will not be upgradable to the maximum item level by default, and you're going to have to kill the boss in the raid to be able to buy the items that they drop. The blue post says that if you want to buy heroic track gear, you'll need to kill the associated boss at least once on any difficulty, so LFR should still count here. You'll still be killing some of these bosses anyway to fulfill that 4 boss kill weekly quest to actually get your currency, but I would just make sure you do a full clear and kill every boss at least once so you can buy all of the available items at heroic item levels. If you want the myth upgrade track items, you'll have to kill the bosses on mythic difficulty, so that's going to be just for the mythic raiders and acts as a bad luck protection mechanic so they can pick up the items that they want or need without having to rely entirely on RNG to deliver them. But that does mean they will need to kill the last boss on mythic difficulty before they can buy the mythic version of Gallywix's dinar gear. So anyone who is clearing through the raid on mythic is going to have a decision to make. Do you buy the heroic version now and upgrade it, or wait until you can buy the mythic version of that item? Hopefully you'll be able to upgrade the heroic version to mythic somehow if you kill the boss later on, but we don't have any information about that just yet. Now, the mythic versions of these items being locked behind mythic raid kills may cause a bit of an unintended side effect. Buying things like mythic plus dungeon clears or raid clears isn't anything new, despite the many attempts to try and squash the practice. With enough gold, you can buy things like Ahead of the Curve or Cutting Edge Achievements, or even the mythic only raid mounts. Selling or buying full raid clears for heroic or mythic difficulty is pretty common practice nowadays, and those boosting services don't seem to be going anywhere, providing that it's all all just gold exchanging hands. Locking higher item level dinar gear behind mythic raid boss kills could incentivize more players to just go ahead and buy those mythic raid clears. You only need one kill of each boss, and depending on the item you need, you don't even need to clear the entire raid. That's definitely not ideal, and I do wonder if we could see some changes to how the dinar gear works before the system goes live on May 13th. The good news here is that almost everyone will be able to pick up 3 powerful hero track items more or less for free. That's actually going to be even more impactful thanks to the other changes coming in the Season 2 Turbo Boost event. The Hero and Myth upgrade tracks will both be extended by 2 upgrades, so be able to go up to 8 of 8 Hero and 8 of 8 Myth for all of those items. 2 upgrade bumps should be worth about 6 item levels, so this means Hero track gear should cap out at item level 671 instead of item level 665, and then Myth track gear should cap out at about item level 684 instead of item level 678. This is going to make Myth track gear even more powerful than it previously was, so getting those high Mythic Plus keystones done for the easy Myth track gear in your weekly vault will be more important than ever if you want to max out your character's item level. If you usually just stick to solo player friendly content, it's kinda difficult to get anything higher than hero track gear, but this will give you an extra 6 item levels to pick up across all of your gear anyway, and those heroic dinar vendor items will go up to item level 671 as well. What's interesting to me is that these extra item levels are basically an across-the-board nerf to all content in Season 2. Almost no matter what you're working on, whether that's clearing those tier 11 delves, pushing up to plus 10 keys or above in the Mythic Plus keystone system, or working through the raid on heroic or mythic difficulty, getting these extra item levels will give you a significant power spike, which should make all of that content much easier and give you a better chance of completing your end-of-season goals. In addition to the extra item levels for upgrade tracks, the cap for crests will be lifted, allowing you to farm as many crests as you want. Valorstones are going to become Warbound bound, so you can freely trade them across all of your characters and alts, which should make gearing up your other characters much easier, and the Mythic Plus drop rates for Warbound gear are also being doubled, so all in all, gearing up multiple characters is going to get much easier when this event starts. Surprisingly, professions and crafted gear haven't been left out of the fun. When this event starts, you'll be able to buy a brand new item called an augmentation matrix, which can be used when you craft or recraft your gear to increase its item level by up to 6. That will take rank 5 gilded crafted gear up to item level 681, which is probably about 3 item levels below the new maxed out myth track item level, so crafted gear will remain some of the easiest high item level gear that you can get your hands on. Now, as of right now, we have no idea what these augmentation matrices will require, but it's probably a safe bet that it'll be tied to gilded crests somehow, so stocking up on gilded crests before this event starts is probably a good idea. Remember that pretty much everyone can get the best crafted gear in Season 2. All you need are gilded crests, and you can earn those from clearing tier 11 bountiful delves. Between your 3 weekly tier 11 bountiful delves and using your Delver's Bounty map on a tier 11 delve, you can get about 30 gilded crests per week just from running delves. That's 1 enchanted gilded crest every 2 weeks, and then you can upgrade that even further with those augmentation matrices for a new piece of item level 681 gear every 2 weeks that you're clearing your delves without having to jump into any group content whatsoever. So if you are a solo content focused player, you really need to get on the crafted gear train. That's where the best gear is going to come from if you don't want to do Mythic Plus dungeons. There's actually another way to get gilded crests from delves now as well. In patch 11.15, if you clear a tier 11 bountiful delve, you should receive a cracked keystone. This item will give you a quest to run a +2 key or above, and if you're clearing tier 11 delves, a +2 keystone should be a cakewalk. That quest rewards a lot of Valorstones as well as some runed and gilded crests, so you can pick up some very valuable crests just for dipping your toes into the Mythic Plus keystone system. And who knows, you may enjoy yourself enough to work your way up the keystone levels and earn even more gilded crests from the higher keys. Now, delves are also going to see some huge changes as part of the Season 2 Turbo Boost event. Bran will gain more experience, so he's going to level up much faster. You'll get extra Delver's Journey seasonal progress to unlock all of those rewards, and the Delver's Bounty rewards will be improved as well. Delves will also reward more crests and Valorstones, so they'll just overall be more rewarding when the Turbo Boost becomes active on May 13th. And then real quick before we head out, patch 11.17 just appeared on the public test realms. There aren't any actual updates or changes just yet, it's basically just been renamed, but that means we'll probably get some PTR updates very soon. The roadmap has 11.17 bringing us new story content and quests, which will likely set the stage for patch 11.2 and the new zone that we'll be exploring during season 3. We'll also see new content and system updates, which doesn't really tell us very much, but we should also see the return of the Turbulent Timeways event, which has always given us even more chances for easy gear, and yet another event that lets you level up alts super quickly, assuming you have any left to level at this point, that is. So it may not feel like you have much to do right now in-game, but we'll have the Puzzling Cartel Chips coming soon, the Turbo Boost event for Season 2 starts up on May 13th, which lets you gear up even further and easier in a wide variety of ways, and gearing up your ults will be so much smoother as well. Then the Horrific Visions feature opens up on May 20th, the Dastardly Duos event will come after that on June 3rd, and then we'll be coasting into 11.17 sometime after that. So there is a lot to look forward to over the next 2 months or so. It's just a shame we have a bit of a wait for any of it to become active. But that's how the dinar currency is going to work and when they'll be available, as well as all of the gearing changes coming with the Season 2 Turbo Boost event. So that's it for this video. How do you feel about the dinar gear being item level restricted without clearing the raid on Mythic? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to all of our members here on YouTube. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you're interested in supporting the channel, you can find links in the description or click the join button just below the video. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful in any way, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you're always kept up to date. Thanks for watching, folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.